to 40 minutes of talking, and then at the end we'll do some Q&A. So we're going to start. I'm going to introduce Steve, who you might have just seen if you were on here previously, and he is the primary owner, and he'll go through a couple of updates, and then he'll turn it over to Christina Jenton, who's our resort general manager, and then they'll bring it back to me, and then I'll give you an update on the club reopening, and I will give you update on what changes we've started to implement to prepare for the club reopening. And then I will talk a little bit about the survey that we sent out last week and some of the early results from that. I will also talk to you a little bit about the questions that you've sent in, because so many of you had the same questions, so I'll address those. So if you, and then at the end, if we have time, then we can answer some of those questions that you have in the chat if I haven't already answered them for you. All right, so I'm going to now turn it over to Steve Yang. He's our primary owner, and he'll talk for a few minutes, and then I'll be back with you guys in a little bit. So thanks again for joining, and I can't wait to update you on what's happening around here and a timeline, proposed timeline to get you all back in here. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Catherine. I'm Steve Yang. Hi, everyone. I've met some of you. I've done some classes with some of you, but for many of you, I think I'm a new face. So just a few quick facts about myself. I have 3 kids. I live in Tiburon. Cycling, golf, and tennis and yoga are probably my, maybe calisthenics are my hobbies. You know, and the reason that I'm in hospitality is really to help people. And this whole pandemic has highlighted, you know, the need for connection. And I think 3, you know, silver linings to this pandemic are the earth, family time, and outdoor activity. The earth has certainly gotten a breath of fresh air for the last couple of months, while most of the Western Hemisphere has been in shelter in place. And I think that's a good thing and a much needed thing. And so as you watch the Flamingo unfold, and you'll see really, hopefully, the reason that I spent so long trying to buy this hotel, health club, and restaurant from Pierre. That started back in 2017, and you know, pre-fires. And Pierre is now, you know, our partner in this endeavor, and fully supportive of, you know, all the changes we're trying to bring to the programming at the Flamingo and the health club. Catherine and I, just before this started, we're doing breath work through Wim Hof. And that's one of the modalities, along with sound healing and cold plunge, that I'm most excited to experience with all of you. I look forward to meeting all of you. Back in 2015, we had bought the Sandman Hotel up off Cleveland Avenue. And just as we were, you know, planning that event to have all of you over at that pool while we took the pool out of service, the Flamingo, you know, COVID hit and the shelter in place hit. And I think for a lot of you that have survived 2017 in Sonoma County, it seems like Sonoma's really survived this pretty well. For those of you that don't follow me on LinkedIn, you may want to. I wrote a letter to Gavin Newsom about this, and you can see it there. But what I really want to point your attention to is we're going to be introducing an interim concept at the restaurant, much in response to a lot of the survey, you know, responses that we received from all of you, which we really encourage. You know, all the communication that you've provided to us and guidance is so valuable. You're really our most important audience through this whole journey. You're like the guiding light for us in terms of creating the new Flamingo. In that regard, we're going to be launching a restaurant called the Wild Bird. And it's just simple, you know, fare geared towards takeout and room service at the moment. And we're going to be having a tasting for that next Friday, June the 5th from 4 to 6 p.m. You know, every member will get a free sandwich, but you have to RSVP so that we know how many to make. And with that, I'd really like to turn it over to Christina Jetton, our general manager, really an esteemed general manager who came here from Carmel Valley Ranch in Ventana and has been a Napa native for decades now. So Christina can tell you more about what we're up to at the Flamingo. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen, for the nice introduction. I have met many of you around the resort, at the pool, even early mornings in the locker room. And I so look forward to seeing you back at the club. We've really, really missed you, and we hope to see some of you Friday in a week. In the meantime, I just wanted to tell you some of the things that have been going on while you've been gone. And when we started our renovation back in February, we realized that a little technical difficulty. We realized that we have, a lot of people at the resort at one time, and I, along with Catherine, tried to provide the best experience for you every single day at the Montecito Heights Health Club, and in these difficult times, more importantly, a very safe experience. But I also take care of our wonderful team, who we love. They're so great, have been with us for so long, and make such an incredible contribution to the resort. I take care of our guests who come for fun or for work, and I take care of all of our convention goers. That's a lot of people at the resort at one time, which I'm sure you realize. And so we started out by focusing on creating a new entrance off of Farmers Lane for the health club. So you don't have to go to the resort area anymore. You can go straight to the health club, and you can go and work out even more and be ready even quicker. So I hope you enjoy the new entrance when you come back. After that, we focused on the Flamingo Pool, which is certainly everybody's favorite. We resurfaced it completely. We also resurfaced the hot tub. We took down the gazebo so that you can actually sit in the hot tub and enjoy the sunshine and the surroundings. We also expanded the walkways around the pool and finished the first phase of landscaping. So it looks really great out there. And all of that was done in time for Memorial Day in the hopes that we could start the beginning of summer with an open pool and a celebration. But Sonoma County was not quite ready for that, and that's okay. And we will also, as soon as the regulations are amended and changed and announced, make sure that the pool experience this summer for all the different audiences is a very safe one. We don't quite know yet how many people are going to be allowed in the pool and whether we have to have a reservation system. But one thing that's for sure is that we will continue to have wristbands for everybody. But you're very used to that, so I'm sure you'll be fine using them even this year. The one thing we were able to do on Memorial Day is bring out the Tiki Bar, which we had in operation last year. And it gave us the opportunity to introduce that concept that Stephen was talking about, which is called Wild Bird. It's a locally sourced organic concept that focuses on wonderful Mary's chicken that we all know and love. It's called Wild Bird, and we have a wild bird sandwich, a veggie bird, and also a beach bird, along with some amazing chicken nuggets. They literally melt in your mouth. And then my very favorite, the lily koi salad, which is wonderful, served with a special Thai basil green tea that they started serving at the Tiki Bar. So take advantage of the tasting next week and let me know what your favorite is. So hopefully you will get to join us soon and come back and enjoy the club. As Catherine said, it's such a wonderful community, and we all come here for many other reasons besides just to exercise, to see our friends, to spend time together, and hopefully we can do that again soon. And when you come back, you'll see the next phase starting to take place. We're creating a beautiful new entrance for our guests with a porte cochere and an actual true sense of arrival. And it will lead straight into a walkway where you can see the pool, and then to your left, you will be led into a brand new lobby for the guests. We've also refreshed or are in the process of refreshing all of our meeting spaces. So there's a lot going on, and we can't wait to show it to you. So thank you for taking the time to participate today, and I very much look forward to seeing you around the resort soon. Take care, and I'll hand it over back to Catherine, who truly has been my rock through all of this. So thank you, Catherine.
Hi again, everyone. And yes, thank you, Stephen. Thanks, Christina. She's been such a huge help to me during these uncharted waters where I don't know what's going to happen from day to day. And she keeps a positive tone and helps me when I'm feeling like I can't make any more decisions. So thank you to those. So a lot of good questions coming in, which hope we'll get to, but I'm going to go over a few things that I've got to update you all on, and then we'll get to some of those great questions. So let me talk a little bit about reopening. Obviously, the tennis courts, maybe that's not obvious, but the tennis courts are open, which is super exciting to us. And we've had a lot of players coming out, a little hot right now, but at the mornings and the afternoons have been nice and busy at the courts. So if you're interested in playing tennis, go to our website and you'll see how to reserve a court and what protocols you'll need to follow. So very exciting to have some members back. It's breathing a little life into this place. So that's nice to see. We also got the green light for our summer day program, which is our tennis swim club for kids, which will start June 8th. And that's an exciting thing. I know a lot of parents and a lot of kids actually need some time away from each other. So we are going to gladly welcome them here for tennis and swim. And I'll talk a little bit about the swim later, but there are those camps or those programs start June 8th. And that'll be exciting to have the kids back here and have a lot of the summer staff back as well. As far as the rest of the club, that's a big unknown. We're little baby steps here and there, the tennis and then the day programs. So we're hoping that the club will be allowed maybe within the next month, 6 weeks. We're monitoring what's happening around the rest of the world and country as other clubs reopen. And as most of you know, Sonoma County is a little bit more conservative than other places, which is fine. It just means that we're last to get open. So I'm working with some colleagues on the West Coast. It seems that Washington and Oregon and California are kind of on the same reopening phases. And one of my colleagues up in Washington has strong feelings that clubs will get a green light sometime in early July, maybe late June. So I'm kind of hoping on that. That's what we're preparing for here. If it's earlier, even better, we'll be ready. So again, I just don't really know anything definitive. There's no new news. I'm closely following it and working with Airport Club and Park Point Club as well. And we're communicating with our public officials to try to see if we can get some more information. So when I get it, I'll let you guys all know. And then and there might be some phases to reopening, as there has been so far with the tennis courts. That was the first thing that we were able to open. We're hoping maybe the pools will get open next. At this point, our county will not allow swimming in pools, public or private. And so we can't open those yet, but when we do, we will get those open as soon as possible. And it's so hot like today, it's just everybody's mind is thinking about the pool. So yeah, we will get that going, I promise you. So I guess the big question is, what changes are going to take place and what changes have taken place so that when we do get that green light, we are ready to go. And that is really, really important to me because I don't want to get the green light and then have to wait a week or two while we get protocols in place. So some of the things that we're already doing, I don't know if you can see behind me, they're kind of clear, but there's 2 plexiglass shields on either side of the counter where the guest and the staff interaction is. We have plexiglass all over the place where there's interaction between staff and members or staff and staff. So you'll see that happening. That's already happened. We are using already, the staff are using a pre-work app. So when we arrive to work, we point our phone to this QR code, and that brings up a little survey, a little questionnaire, and we answer questions about our health and where we've been and if we've come in contact with anybody with any symptoms, and then it allows us to get to work. So we may implement the same type of idea with our members, and we're working on a member app for that as well. So that's something that we're in the process of researching. And we also are we're working on getting touchless systems. So for example, touchless sinks, touchless soap dispensers, and other areas that are high contact. So putting those into place, Ralph's working on estimates for all of that work. So that'll also help. We are considering erecting a shade structure outdoors so that we can hold classes and possibly cardio equipment out there. So we're working with a couple of contractors on some ideas with that. And I'll go over that a little bit more later because that came up quite a bit in the questions and in the survey that we had members fill out. We're also talking about some changing areas at the lap pool because there is a chance that the pools could open before the locker rooms, and therefore members could come and swim and then have a place to change out of their suit before they head back to wherever they need to go. So we are also, or I should say Ralph is also working on that system. And we're considering the locker rooms as a potential place to reopen with some limitations, such as marking off every 5th or 6th locker so that we can get the social distancing proper in the locker rooms. So we're just having to kind of figure out some of these ideas and what would make people feel safe. We have ordered and received many antibacterial wipes. Not my favorite way to clean equipment because it it creates a lot of waste, but we just could not, and most of our colleagues haven't figured out a great system for wiping down equipment with a spray bottle and rags that would allow us to touch our own spray bottle and the rag. So we had to do the bacterial wipes, which is great. We'll have plenty of those all around the club, and those will be needed to wipe down any equipment that our members touch. We are also working on a cleaning protocol for our staff. As you know, and a lot of our members always have appreciated over the years, the club takes great pride in how clean our club is, and we have upped that even more so. So we'll have a lot of staff, many more staff around than even before, cleaning in between uses and definitely cleaning after hours. So we're also considering some increased outdoor exercise options. So in addition to maybe classes, some other group activities or some walks or hikes or running clubs or something that we can do outdoors with proper distancing that would allow us to take advantage of the fresh air in the next nice months ahead. We are also working on a lot of signage. One thing that's become really clear and talking to other clubs and talking to our members is that we cannot do this alone. The staff can do so much, but it's really going to be up to all of us, the members and the staff are in this together. And we're going to really need the members' help in wiping down their own equipment and cleaning up after themselves, washing their hands, all those things that we know so well now. We are absolutely 100% going to be relying on you and our members to help us in this. So those are the things that we're implementing. We're also working on a possible reservation system for different parts of the club or even the club in general in the case that we do have to limit the number of people in the club at any given time or in any given area. So I am working on some different systems that would make it easy for you to reserve a spot and not so cumbersome that you just say, forget it, I'm not coming. So just stay tuned for that. We're not sure if that's going to be a requirement, but just in case, we want to be ready. And then I want to move on to the survey that we sent out last week. If you didn't see it, it was in an email on Saturday. And it's also on the homepage of our website, montecitoheights.com. So if you didn't have a chance to fill it out, go ahead and do that, because it's a quick survey. I think it's only 5 questions. Basically trying to understand your comfort in coming back to the club. Are you ready to come back? And if so, what do you want to see changed when you get here? And what are you willing to do to make that happen? So I want to give you some results. We've had about 600 people respond so far, which is really, really good. I just love your guys' enthusiasm and your participation. It's so great. And so just to let you know, most of you, a good percentage of you are ready to come back with changes, which is really, really good. And let me highlight some of those changes that you're asking for. Number 1, antibacterial wipes around the club. So check, we've got that ready to go. We will definitely do that. Number 2, require members to clean up after themselves. And again, just what I was reiterating before, how important it's going to be for all of us to be in this together. So we will be here to remind you and have signage around and just make it as easy as possible for our members to wipe up whatever they touch, whatever they use. Number 3 was space equipment. You all want to see the equipment spaced out so that you can use the equipment, but use it safely. And what we're working on right now is some plexiglass between the treadmills, because the treadmills can't be moved. Those were basically built in place. So we're thinking about putting the plexiglass in between so that we could still use the treadmills, but do it safely. We're thinking about moving some of the equipment outdoors that makes sense to move outdoors, that doesn't require electricity or have a lot of sound. So that's one way we're doing that. We're also thinking about in the weight room to possibly reconfiguring it so that it's more of a circuit, one-way traffic, so that you're not going from machine to a machine and interacting with a lot of different people, and you're just staying in kind of a more fluid movement. So that's another concern a lot of you had, and we were addressing that. Same with the classes. How do we adequately space classes? And it sounds like we need about a 10 by 10 foot area for the HIIT type of classes, and 6 by 6 or 7 by 7 for yoga, and then more non-moving classes. So we may just be marking the floor with spots so that those are pre-designated when you come into the room. If we can do indoor classes, that might be coming a little bit later. So those are some ideas for spacing that we have. Same with the pools. We may just have to limit it to 1 swimmer per lane when we start, and designating times to that. And again, we're working on some reservation systems for that. A lot of you had some really great ideas. And so just kind of stay tuned on how that's going to all work. And then the 4th part of the survey, the 4th thing that you were really hoping to have in order to feel comfortable, was more hand sanitizer around the club. So we've got it. We've got a couple places where you'll be able to sanitize your hands throughout the club, indoors and outdoors. So those were your top 4 hopes that we would have in place in order for you to feel safe in coming back. The other item in the survey that I thought was great was that 65% of you said that you were willing to do some sort of a reservation system in order to get back into the club or back into certain parts of the club. A lot of you wanted to make sure we made it easy. And then again, we're working on that, so it's not too complicated. So that was good news, because that might very well be a possibility that there will be something like that in place. So those were the results of the survey. And as we get more and over the next few days, and I'll be sharing more of those results as well, and we'll be reacting based on what you're saying and what you would like to see. So it's really important, if you haven't filled that out yet, to go ahead and do that. It just takes a couple minutes. Finally, I'm going to go over some of the questions that you posed when you signed up for the town hall. And if I don't address them all, which I probably won't, we'll take some at the end as well. You've already posed some great questions in the chat, so we'll answer those as well. Let's see, the number 1 question: when will the pool or pools be open? So we don't know. We got the green light for the summer programs for youth that they can use a pool as long as it's not shared by other people and as long as they're social distanced. So we're going to be able to do that, which is great news for the kids. We still don't know yet for adults. So once we have some information on that, we will certainly get that out to you as quick as possible and get you guys back into the pool. Another question that you asked was how the staff, and that's so nice. And we know that the staff are what make this place. And again, it could just be a big box full of equipment, but with the staff, it's got personality and it's got soul. And so thank you for asking about them. And I've had the pleasure of working closely with Ralph, who's still working here 40 hours a week plus. He's here, he's doing great. He's getting a lot of things done that he can't do when the club's open. So he's super happy about that, although he misses seeing you guys. And then I have been working with the instructors on our virtual classes. If you have not seen those, we've got a full lineup of virtual classes. So it's been nice to have their enthusiasm and energy in the club. And we've got Lisa, our group exercise director. She's back part-time managing the virtual staff program. And I've got Jeanette, our account manager. So if you have questions with your bill or if anything regarding your dues or your leave of absence or change of status, she's here about 20 hours a week. So you can give her a call or an email. And then Megan, our operations manager, will be returning today for just not too many hours, but enough to get some of our things going that we need to get going online and some of our protocols for our desk staff. So that's who's currently working, and the summer staff, which is great. Our day program staff is coming back on Monday to get those kids going. And then Nick, our tennis director, will also be back next week. So other than that, we've been communicating with our staff on about twice a week, or excuse me, once every 2 weeks. We communicate with all the staff, check in how they're doing. And most of them are doing just great. They're super excited to come back to work. They really miss being here. I know some of you are on the call right now. I saw Debbie Beam and I saw Elise and I saw Kim. So thank you for joining us. I know they're excited to get back in here and get working with our members again. It's been a long haul for all of us. The Flamingo has graciously given a couple of staff meals. So the staff drove up to the club and picked up a meal. And that was really fun to see a lot of the staff and their families come by and get the meals. So the staff's doing relatively well, healthy, which is fantastic. And looking forward to coming back. Let's see, update on the outside classes. I did talk about that. We know that we can have certain classes outside. They're more conducive to outdoors, yoga, Pilates, things that don't require a lot of noise, so to speak, a lot of volume. Those will be easily adapted to outdoors. And then we're working on some other class formats that we can use that don't require a lot of loud music, but can still be done outside where it's a lot safer to be and a lot safer to exercise during COVID. So kind of stay tuned on what those classes are. We are thinking about, like I think I said, tenting a part of a tennis court and putting some classes out there. So that'll be fun to start working on some formats for that. Another question we got quite a bit about classes was swim classes. When can we get back to master swim and pre-master swim and aqua aerobics? And yes, we are working on protocols for that as well. And it seems pretty safe because there seems to be a lot of data that indicates that COVID can't be spread in chlorinated water. But again, we still have to do the social distancing. So we think we can successfully do that once we get the pools open. And thank you to our master swim instructors who have given some great ideas on how they feel they can safely host their classes using some very creative lane assignments. So we'll elaborate on that when the pool gets reopened. Let's see. Also, a lot of people asked about the dues and the decision to charge 50% dues or to go on a hold. And I really appreciate that. I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of you over the last week about that. And I can understand your concern. And so wanted to just briefly address that it is an expensive endeavor to get this club reopened safely. And we do want to remain a financially strong business in the future. And we made that decision to charge 50% dues just based on those two things. We also very clearly understand that might not be an option for some of you. So we wanted to give you the option of freezing your membership as well. And if you need any further clarification or need help with making that decision, please call me or email me. And I'm so happy to have a conversation with you individually about how we can make it work for you. So don't hesitate. I'm here Monday through Friday, sometimes weekends, but I'm available and I'm really happy to talk to you about that. So those were some of the major questions that you were asking. I know a lot of people are asking about yoga and virtual classes with yoga as well. And we are starting some yoga classes virtually very soon. It's just a matter of the instructors and their comfort level of coming in and teaching those. So stay tuned on that one. That was another question we got. I think there's been.
But I think we will definitely require masks in this lobby area that I'm sitting in right now. But there's also been a lot of studies on how masks are not great for cardio and aerobic activity. And so we're going to find a way for people to be able to work out, whether it's outside or inside safely. And so that, you're not harming your body by working out. And I think there's another question about, we've decided to freeze our membership. Will there be fees for reinstating our membership sooner than July 31st? And I think the answer is no, there won't be any fees associated with that at all. And just looking if I have any more questions here. But yeah, keep the questions coming in. I know we've kept you on for 39 minutes now, so I'll put Catherine back on unless anyone has any other questions. So.
All right, thanks, Steve. That was great. Yeah, so Tori, great question about yoga. Yeah, we'd love to have more classes. One of the things we're considering, if we have to limit the number of people in the class, is possibly having shorter classes and more of them back to back so more people can get in. So as much as everybody loves an hour of yoga, maybe we'll start with 40 minutes or 45 minutes and do 2 classes so more people can get in. So that was great. And I think most of those have been answered, so I really appreciate that. Thanks for all this. Oh, are you allowing lap swim at the Flamingo Pool when it opens? Oh, hey, Bev, it's good to see you, or hear or see your name. Lap swimming in the Flamingo Pool. I mean, you're an early morning workout person, so it'll probably be fine once swimming's open. During the summer, it's hard to do laps in the Flamingo Pool during the day, but in the morning, it's fantastic. So yes, that would be completely fine. I can't imagine why we wouldn't. And Mission Viejo has swimmers back in the pool. Yeah, I know. Sonoma County is a little late, but that's all right. We got to be safe. So I just want to close by thanking all of you once again for your time. We'd love to do another one of these and maybe focus on something more specific. I just can't tell you how excited I am to see all of you again. And it's just, this place is such a community for so many people, and all my friends that I see in the locker room every day. I miss you all so much. And all people, my cycle classes, I can't wait. Well, I know I have a broken clavicle and a broken pelvis, but eventually I'll get back in the cycle class with all of you. And I can't wait to see you again. So thanks for taking an hour of your time or 45 minutes of your time today. And I really appreciate your enthusiasm and willingness to give us your input. And can't wait to talk with you next time. So stay tuned, okay? Thanks, everyone.